In Portal 2, there's a certain quote where Cave Johnson talks about lemons. People really like this quote. Videos like these have 2.5 million views. Naturally, glitch hunters and speedrunners craft ways of getting around this dialogue. The whole basis of this skip comes from the fact that this catwalk, that the player walks on after triggering the speech, is visible from the start of the level. In addition to skipping the infamous lemon dialogue, getting on this catwalk early would result in skipping a large portion of the test chamber. Of course, our first asset is the portal gun, but sometimes that doesn't work, and we have to think with more than just portals. Let me introduce to you a glitch called the reportal. In order to stop the player from accessing cheeky angles using portals, the game will push you out of a portal if a new portal is placed. This gives the player a 200 velocity push out of the portal. We can use this portal push in unintended ways to cross gaps easily, or just generally gain a large amount of speed. This is called a reportal. However, what if the player was stuck? What I mean by that is, what if the player's velocity increased by 200, but they didn't move away from the portal? If a player was in an obstructed, stuck state, what would happen if they attempted to perform a reportal? This is how a glitch called a super reportal works. The player first has to get stuck in some way. Once stuck, the player can shoot a portal in a way that the portal's hitbox collides with the player, but far enough away that the player won't travel through the portal. This is so the player will receive the 200 velocity speed boost from the portal, but won't become unstuck as a result of traveling through the portal. When the blue portal is placed like this, placing an orange portal performs a reportal. You get 200 velocity added to your speed, but you're still stuck. This is the super reportal. The orange portal can be placed as many times as you would like, and every time the player gets an additional 200 velocity. Then, you can replace your blue portal, and all of your speed gets released. With this glitch, you can build a seemingly infinite amount of speed. Surely we could use this to somehow get on the catwalk, right? Well, let's go back to the first requirement of the super reportal glitch. We need to get stuck. This is where NeKz comes into the picture. NeKz discovered that through placing a portal behind a file cabinet in the office portion of the level, it is possible to abuse faulty collision and get stuck. Once the player replaces a portal, the game attempts to correct the player's position, but it fails, as the player clips into the wall. This is exactly what we needed to try the super reportal glitch. At least, that's what we thought. Scripted momentum is a game mechanic that is all around Portal 2. But you can play this game multiple times and still never recognize it. Go to any level in Portal 2 and then type in the developer console showtriggers_toggle. These yellow blocks, known as triggers, will consume your screen. Triggers do a lot of things, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to talk about trigger catapults. Trigger catapults are triggers that, well, catapult you. Once you enter the trigger, the game gives you velocity in a certain direction. The best example of these trigger catapults are the aerial faith plates. But there are other examples. Have you ever considered attempting a fling in Portal 2 and thought, there's no way this is gonna work, then seeing the fling succeed almost perfectly? That's because of a special kind of trigger catapult known as scripted momentum. There's a trigger catapult here, but it only triggers if you have a certain range of velocity. Basically, it will correct your speed so that you can perfectly make the fling. Take for instance the fling on the very map that we're theory crafting. When building up speed all the way at the furthest point of the propulsion gel, the fling will succeed with flying colors, and you'll land perfectly on the stairs. However, if you were to start this fling right before the crushers, the fling still works. And not only does it work, but you land on the exact same spot on the stairs. This doesn't make sense. You should have much less speed. You can even do a peculiar strafe here to get the same fling. Obviously, this is due to scripted momentum. There's a trigger right here, on the slope. It will boost you to the staircase if the player's velocity is between 660 and 1230. This is a great feature for the casual experience, but it really screws up the trick. When we attempt a super reportal and reach the speed threshold, we just get spat out onto the stairs. So, in order to build up an ample amount of speed, we're gonna need to circumvent the scripted momentum trigger in some way. This is where route extraordinaire Krzyhau comes into the picture. He found out that it is possible to actually disable the trigger catapult. By exiting the trigger for exactly 1 tick, or 1/60th of a second, the trigger catapult will get incredibly confused. The trigger is left in a frozen state. The game knows you're in the trigger, but it doesn't properly track your speed. The only way to fix this frozen state is to exit and re-enter the trigger. However, this bug is perfect for our case. If the trigger never updates our speed, we can simply disable it with a very low speed and then build up speed as we please. Now with all these steps combined, we can attempt the super reportal. First, we get stuck. Then, after shooting a minimum of 14 portals against the wall, we have enough speed. When released, our speed is directed perpendicularly to the slope. Through sloping off of this circular silo, the majority of the player's horizontal velocity can be halted, but not the player's vertical velocity. With some small strafing in air, the player is able to make it to the catwalk with height to spare. Now, it's time for takeoff. Notably, this skip has been named Lemon Skip and saves about 20 seconds in the Portal 2 speedrun, as it bypasses a lengthy elevator ride, as well as a small test chamber. However, I much rather value the skip as a wonder of the Source engine, as there are so many reasons why this trick shouldn't work, but since life gave us lemons, we made lemonade.